श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So if we'll see here, hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so we have been recapping Nectar Devotion. And so in our recap, we, on the very first week, we understood about pure devotional service, the definition of pure devotional service, and are we practicing pure devotional service or not? That we tried to understood in a very brief. And then we we started discussing about how pure devotional service, or what are the six qualifications or qualities of pure devotional service. And there we, or not qualities, qualities and characteristics basically. Then where we discussed about these six things. The pure devotional service relieves us from material desire or material distress, and is destroy all auspiciousness. In also the liberation becomes insignificant, and pure devotional service is very rare or is very rarely achieved. And then we also discussed about how the pure devotional service actually condenses bliss of everything, and pure devotional service even attracts Krishna most importantly. Yeah, so we discussed on this part. We try to understand according to the definition, according to the explanation by Rupa Goswami, as well as also by that Srila Prabhupada, and also other books as well. Yeah, so I think this was the 5 ways where we completed it. Any quick questions before we move ahead? Okay, so if not, let us go back to Nectar Devotion itself and see. So we, in this stage, we understood about characteristics of pure devotional service, which are in 6. Right, this is the very basic understanding. And then also we understood about just we had a brief discussion on what is sadhana bhakti and what is raganuga bhakti and prema bhakti, like that, right? And also we covered all these 64 limbs. Yeah, so if we see from the book which we are referring earlier, Waves of Devotion, yeah, in that if we see the whole chat, what it is, yeah, this part, where it went. The division of the book itself. Sorry. Yeah, here it is. So we saw this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Ocean of Nectar of Devotion. It has four sides: eastern side of ocean, southern side, western side, northern side. And eastern side we completed by reading Prabhupada explanation. Summary on nectar devotion of these four is compiled into first 19 chapters of nectar devotion. And in the recap, also we understood about overview of devotion, right? And then, which is, if we see here back as an first part, where it says the Prabhupada's chapter 1 is overview of devotional service, right? And then it goes to sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. We also try to understand about what is sadhana bhakti, what is bhava bhakti, and what is prema bhakti. And there are 64 limbs of bhakti are also being described. So that also we have read out 64 devotional limbs, from which first 20 are very important. First 20 are important, where it says that 10 are the do's and then 10 are the don'ts, and then the others what is there. Yeah, so these are all compiled by Prabhupada into 19 chapters. Still 19 chapters. It goes, I mean, it doesn't goes much, it differ into depth into the pure prema bhakti, but it gives us a general information about what is a prema bhakti is. Yeah, just give me a second, I'm getting a call. 2 minutes. Yeah, so after that, this book defines about the qualification of qualification of a devotee, right? Where it says, or here Prabhupada writes that eligibility of candidates. So here it defines about 3 stages of devotees: the Kanishta Bhakta, Madhyam Adhikari, and also the Uttama Adhikari. And there, then it says about the qualification. What happens is, in the qualification, we have the karmis. So there are 3 levels, is being said. The karmis who are basically attached to enjoyment of everything materially, in a very brief, right? And I think that same thing we also are discussing in Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Puranjana and Puranjini. Yesterday we saw where how it says that the Puranjana, the king, was so much attached to his wife, which is basically its attachment of a jiva for performing karma, or you can say even performing karma as just described or as being instructed in the Vedas as a karma kanda. So that is one level. Then second level is the Gyanis. The Gyanis, they are detached from anything materially, and they say the goal is liberation. So there are 2 things. One is sadhana, and then one is sadhya. Sadhya is the definition itself says kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya. So sadhana sasa vidha. So anything performed to achieve the goal, is called sadhana, and the goal itself is called sadhya. So the goal for the karmis is to enjoy material things or sense enjoyment, and for that the sadhana is for them is to work hard and get more money and enjoy this like that. And for gyan is the goal, or sadhya for the gyan is liberation, where they think that trying to be detached from anything which is material, right? They try to perform niskam karma yoga as well. So the sadhya or sadhana for them is performing niskam karma yoga, trying to detach from anything material, and sadhya or the goal for them is to liberation. However, for bhakta, the devotee, they are not attached to material, but they are detached in such a way that they reject material thing and finds, or they see that Krishna's hand in everything. So even Prabhupada sometimes give example like the microphone. The microphone is a material thing, but still that microphone can be used in the service of Krishna.
Mhm.
So when a speaker speaks, if there are good amount of devotees listening to the class, his voice might not be loud enough for everyone to hear, but the microphone can amplify the voice of the devotee or the speaker, and it can be audible by all the audience. So it means that bhakta, they are not attached, but they use that material thing in such a way that it fulfills the service to Krishna. They find a purpose of even material thing to apply in Krishna consciousness. That's the devotee, right? That's the devotee itself. So even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita the four kinds of the devotees, or they are mixed devotees basically. Arthato Jigyasu, Gyanis, right? Chaturvida bhajante mam, jana sukrita arjuna. Artha Jigyasu Artharthi, Gyani cha Varta Sarva. That's what Krishna says. So, but these are they all comes into mixed devotee. Somehow or other, they have a desire for bhukti or mukti. And this desire for bhukti and mukti, bhukti means desire for sense enjoyment, and mukti means desire for liberation. These both actually obstruct the path of bhakti. If someone is too much attached to bhakti, or enjoying sense gratification or enjoying material world, is difficult for them to take the path of bhakti. In the similar way, even it is said that even at one point of time it's become easier for the bhakti person to take Krishna consciousness, but it's become more difficult for the one who is in the stage of mukti, or who is jnani, looking for liberation. Them to take the path of bhakti is quite difficult, because they have taken the path in such a serious way that it's become very much difficult for them to come out from that stage. Yeah. So that's why the both desire for bhakti, desire for bhakti and mukti both obstruct the bhakti. Yeah, so we'll have to be very much careful about it, because once we know these things by reading shastras, by hearing from Prabhupada, by hearing from parampara and acharyas, then it becomes easier for us to understand it. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. That's interesting. So, on the path of mukti, what exactly is that process so hard that makes it harder than those in bhakti to take devotional service?
Yeah, so the path of mukti is the path where they try to analyze everything by their own understanding, by their own speculations, and by their speculation or by their understanding, they understand that anything you engage in material, that is going to bind you. So they they try to be detached from doing anything materially. And if we see, it becomes very difficult in general to be detached from everything material. So, earlier we discussed the point of axis, axis, y axis. So there is a neutral point or origin, that is 0 by 0, and the bottom of that is a negative. Axis goes towards negative infinity, and the axis on the upward, it goes towards positive infinity. So we know that the y axis, the from the origin, if you move upward, these are all positive, 1, 2, 10, 1000, 100, and goes on. In the similar way, in the bottom, it goes negative. So the jnanis, they perceive any material activities as negative, and they want to come to the platform of 0 or neutral. However, they miss out the point that the positive is also there. Positive is what? Positive is that we can engage our activity in Krishna consciousness. Every activity what we do can be engaged for the higher cause, right? And then they has a conception that everything is void at the end, and they go more deeper understanding or knowledge, and they has a conclusion that there is no difference between a jiva and or soul and a super soul. And the jiva, by practicing detachment, at one point of time he can become the supreme, or he can merge with the supreme. So when this conception is there, it becomes very difficult for them to take the path of bhakti. Even is that answer to a bit?
Yes, it's beginning to. If I correct me if I'm wrong, but in essence, I take that to mean that they are detached, but miss the point that detachment is also in the utilization of these things for divine service. And that is also a form of detachment from the objects, but using the objects to fulfill Krishna's purpose.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
actually true mukti, isn't it? And
Yes.
they miss that point, plus they think in being detached, they are as good as or as one with God. So that's the main misconception. Is that correct?
Yes, Prabhu. That's one of the and then they think that the Krishna or Rama, when they appear in this material world, they are just as a super human being, not the Supreme Lord. They all come from the Brahman itself, and we can merge into the Brahman, and we can become one with that Supreme Personality, whomsoever he is.
Mm.
So the conclusion of the Jnani is that everything is the Brahman, right?
Yeah.
And nothing is beyond this.
Yeah. That makes sense. Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Yeah.
So in one of the class, very nicely, Bhakti Sindhu Maharaj Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj was explaining the point. Let me recall. He uses a very, very beautiful word. Uh, mm, uh, it's not Brahmasmi. He uses the word. Uh, so, I'm just forgetting the word. Very, very beautiful word he used, Maharaj, in the class to explain this point of the Gyanis and the Bhakta, difference between that. Uh, can we throw some words? Like one is Brahmasmi, and one is Dasosmi. In that context, it was the word Krishna. Okay, I just forgot it. Once I remember, I'll let you know in the chat group ourselves.
Also, Prabhu, I think I got it. You also mean that they are so detached, they're detached even from the things to utilize for service,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Everything,
Right, right.
everything they say. Prabhupada explained that everything in the material they see that as a false or negation.
Mm.
But Prabhupada says that material world is not false; it's temporary. Right? You can't say that my relationship with my family, with my children, with my relatives, with a friend, this is false. It's true, but it's temporary. I have my wife, relationship is there, but that's temporary. It means in due course of time that's going to finish. I have my children, they call me as dad, I call them as my children's, but in due course of time that will finish. So relationship and these things are not false but temporary. The Gyanis thinks that everything is false. Jagat mithya. Mithya means the false. Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. So they say the Brahman is the only truth and Jagat is the false. But Prabhupada explains that this whole Jagata or universe is coming out from Brahman only. If Brahman is Satya, then the thing coming out from him should also be Satya, as stated in Ishopanishad. Right? If we see the first verse of Ishopanishad, let's see. Yeah. So what it says, Aham Om Purnam Adha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Uchchayet Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. What it says? The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. So we understand that the Brahman is the part of Lord Himself, and He is perfect and complete. Even if we accept the point that this whole material world is coming out from the Brahman, which is actually an aspect of the Lord, which is perfect and complete, and because He is completely perfect, all emanation from Him, such as this phenomenal world, what we see as a material world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Each universe is complete in itself. It provides everything whatever we need. We say we have discovered this, we have discovered that, we have discovered that. It means what? Discovery only happens when things existed. Before that we didn't know it. That's a different story. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Srimad Bhagavatam explains everything about how this creation happens and how it existed, how it things happening. But we didn't know it. That's a different story. And whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Right? And because he is the complete whole, even if you take a Supreme Brahman as a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Prabhupada actually writes, I think in this purport, where Prabhupada writes, in the material world, 1 minus 1 is 0 and 1 plus 1 is 2. But in spiritual understanding, 1 minus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 1. I'm not recalling in which purport Prabhupada writes that, but he writes this point. So it's not about one thing has gone out. So one universe is gone out from Krishna's creation, and he has now deficiency of one universe. It's not like that. He's always complete. Yeah. So the Gyanis thinks that this Jagat is mithya, is false. So everything what is in this material world is false. But the reality is that this Jagat is temporary. Yeah. This world is temporary. It's not permanent. Yeah.
You made a very important distinction. All this, everyone says illusion, illusion, illusion. Illusion doesn't mean it's not there, it just means it's temporary.
Yeah.
It just made me realize that. Thank you.
Yeah, Krishna says itself, Dukkhalyam asaswatam. Asaswatam means what? Saswat is eternal. Asaswata means not eternal, means temporary. So these are Krishna's words. It's not my word or Prabhupada word. Prabhupada just explaining or expanding that to make us understand clearly. Krishna is saying is Dukkhalayam asaswatam. Material world is what? Dukkhalayam. Alaya means place where we get things in abundance. What? Dukkha. So here miseries is found at every steps. That's Dukkhalayam. When we say Ausadalaya, means where we find medicines or hospital. When it's a Granthalaya, it means library where you find books, Grantha. And Krishna is clearly said that this material world is Dukkhalaya. It means where we find miseries. And then he says Asashwatam. Saswata is eternal. So spiritual world is eternal and material world is not eternal. Not eternal means temporary. Yeah. So these small things are there, and that's why, because of their conclusion, it's become very difficult for them to take the path of bhakti. Yeah. And however, nonetheless, by the mercy of the devotees, that conception can be changed and had been changed in many times. Yeah, I mean there are so many. Like if you see the Gyanis, I mean actually in the impersonalism is of two categories. One is called as Mayavad and one is called as Brahmavadi. So Mayavadi they deviate from the path, but Brahmavadis they understand the supreme feature of the Lord, but they accept the Brahman as the supreme. But Mayavadis they negate the form of the Lord itself. So the Brahmavadis, when they get association of the pure devotees, or maybe by the mercy of the Lord, they become a devotee. But Mayavad is very difficult for them to become devotees. If we see the example of for Chatuskumaras, when the Chatuskumaras they went to uh, Vaikuntha, they saw Jai Vijay, right? And we know the past times they cursed the Jai Vijay. That oh, you are in the Vaikuntha, but you are having this mentality. We will curse you. And even in Vaikuntha, there is no chance of someone become angry. But these Chatuskumaras who are Gyanis, they became angry. This is all Krishna's plan. And as soon as Vishnu came out, after this all past time happened, he came out, the Chatuskumaras, they smell the aroma of tulsi leaf which are smeared with chandan and at the lotus feet of the Lord. By smelling that tulsi leaf, these Gyanis Chatuskumaras, they became the devotee of the Lord. Yeah. So that is how the Brahmavadis actually they can become the devotee of the Lord. Yeah. So that's very beautiful explanation given. That's how even the Gyanis they can become the Lord, become the devotee of the Lord. Right?
Oh, sorry.
But it's very difficult for Mayavadis to take the path of devotional service. Yeah.
Prabhu, may I ask a question?
Yes, Mataji.
How, although I understand these are states, and so once you arrive at a state of consciousness, it's, you believe these things, and my question, how did they get to Vaikuntha with that concept to understanding? I mean, how did they arrive there? How would they get there? That like if they're in that state of consciousness, how did they get there? How did they know Vaikuntha existed? How,
Who the Chatuskumaras?
Yes.
No, Chatuskumaras, as I said, there are two categories. One is the Mayavadis and one is Brahmavadis.
Okay.
Brahmavadis, they know the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
But they accept Brahman as the Supreme.
Okay. I get it.
But they understand this point that no, the Supreme Lord is there. It's like you understand things, but you are still attached to one part. That's how Brahmavadis is. And this verse explain Tashyara Vinda Nayanasya Padara Vinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulsi Makaranda Vayu Antargata Swavivarena Chakar Tesham Sangshobanam Akshara Yusam Api Chitta Tanva. What it says? When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toe of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead enter the nostrils of those sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind. Even they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. So these Chatuskumaras, they are not Mayavadis, they are Brahmavadis. Brahmavadis means what? They are attached to the impersonal Brahman, but they know who is Supreme Lord. They accept it, but they are attached to Brahmavadi. That is it is.
So because they're attached, it's difficult for them then to surrender to Krishna.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because they know the personality of Godhead, by the association of, or by the mercy of the Lord, or by the devotees, they can take the path of bhakti.
Right.
They can become the bhaktas. And in this pastimes, we see, it says, when the bridge of aroma from tulsi leaf coming out from the lotus feet of the Lord enters nostrils, means when they smell the aroma, the transformation happened within them. They change their body and in mind itself. Let's see with Prabhupada's purport. He says that it appears from this verse that, sorry, the four Kumaras were impersonalists or protagonists of the philosophy of monism, becoming one with the Lord. But as soon as they saw the Lord's features, their mind changed. In other words, the impersonalist who feels transcendental pleasure is striving to become one with the Lord is defeated when he sees the beautiful transcendental features of the Lord. But the point is that Mayavadis, they even don't believe that Lord has a beautiful feature. But Brahmavadis, they believe in this part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your explanation. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Not just for Prabhupada's purport only, Mataji, nothing else, you know.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I think we are 9 now. Let's see, maybe we'll try to do more couple of sessions before we start. I really wanted to read those 64 limbs once again. Maybe we can just go through those limbs in a few more classes, maybe from here, and then to start with the next wave. It's not very much, like, you know, see, this 43 is hearing, what is Saravana, and I mean, we can just read out this once again. So this very small chapter, like say from here starts from chapter 6, 64 items of bhakti, 20 are primary, 44 are additional, and in the first 20, the 10 is accept, activity to accept, and activity to avoid, pravarti and nivritti. So from here it says what is one, accepting self of bona fide spiritual master, Guru Padashraya, and then similar way text Sri Krishna Diksha Dikshanam, so taking initiation. So I think I would think that let's read out this once again, all the 64 limbs one by one, and then we can enter to chapter number 20 after that. Any thoughts? We read till this because when we go through this once again, we might have more discussion, more questions, and I'm just trying to repeat this section again because this is going to be a bit more elaborate, and the understanding of these first 19 chapters are very much helpful to understand this next section as well, where we will read the qualities of Krishna's and then more into that. So first let's read about 64 qualities of bhakti, and then we can go and read 64 qualities of Krishna himself. Yeah.
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
remember yesterday I asked about the AI?
Yeah.
I just clicked it and it asked me, what do you want to know? I said, summarize Prabhu's session. And it just summarized what you are talking about. So I think AI is also learning to become a devotee. I pasted its conversation to you just now, the group. It's summarizing everything you said, so you can use that as a summary and maybe, I don't know, WhatsApp it. Do you mind if I try one day?
Oh wow, it's nice.
It's saying Prabhu is talking about this, this, and this, and summarizing everything. Wow.
Prabhu, can you cut and paste that and put it on our page?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That's possible.
Yes, thank you. Wow.
I think Rupesh Prabhu can do everything. I mean, he can copy all. Is it everything what we got, Prabhu?
I don't know. For example, if you anyone, if they click AI and say whatever they ask AI, what are you speaking? Can you summarize? It will summarize everything, and I think it will give you your own version. But if you can tell me a question, what shall I ask it? And then let's see what it does now. What shall I ask? Sorry?
Who is Brahman?
Who is?
Brahma.
Brahma. Okay. I don't know why it's changing its language in German. That's strange.
This is what.
Who
Okay.
is? Will I say who is Krishna?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's changing its language, but okay. It's analyzing.
Oh wow.
Okay, next time what I'll do, I think what I'll say is summarize session, summarize whole session, and now let's see what it says.
Good.
It's just loading before you sign out.
Yeah. I'm waiting. No problem, Prabhu.
Right. I'll copy and paste, copy. How do I come back to the session? Oh, here it is. Right. Okay, here it is. I've just copied and pasted it.
Thank you.
The meeting discussed the nectar of devotion and covered several key topics. Yes, it's listening, Prabhu, to you.
Maybe it will become a devotee.
Oh, I hope AI. Yes, I think one day we'll have AI devotees.
I'm not sure I like that, but yeah.
Serving the devotees.
Actually, it's.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I mean, to be honest, it just summarizes what we discussed. It nothing outside, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just listening to you and just summarizing the key points.
Oh yeah.
And I think somebody in one of the other groups, one of your Nectar of Devotion groups, did the same thing. They clicked it and then put it in WhatsApp. And I'm wondering how quickly they must have typed. And now I realized what they must have done is asked AI to summarize.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Prabhu, do you think it's a helpful tool?
Yeah. I think this is all what we discussed. I think nothing outside. It just says what we discussed at all. Kind of. Yeah.
So it's a useful tool, like your description of the microphone. It can be used in Krishna consciousness.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we are. If you see, in one sense, we are using the Zoom, right? From last 5 years.
Yes, Prabhu.
We have been using this Zoom. Zoom is today's the world. People are using Zoom for their office meetings and this and that. But we are using Zoom for Krishna consciousness reading only.
Right.
Yes. And I think Kishori Prabhu just tested it and it came out with this answer there. And I think it's a good time saver if ever you wanted to recap and put it in WhatsApp, for those who missed it.
Or we can just put this in a YouTube description as well.
Yeah. Even though there's nothing like coming live, you get more of that quality richness live session,
Okay.
like this live session. But yeah.
Okay.
No
worries.
It's just a time saver, I suppose, that tool to post in our group. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So we'll try to read this 64 limbs from next week, yeah?
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
thank
Guruji.
you.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.